Hello and welcome to Castanet Penticton's Mayor's Minute. I'm joined here by the Mayor, Andrew Jacobite. This week, Penticton City Council, they learned some options for how they can better protect rural residents. They were talking specifically about Riddle Road, but there's also Spiller Road, Sutherland Road. They're in need of fire protection. The Riddle Road residents, they're hoping to get a fire hydrant installed, cost I believe $172,000, protect a pretty small number of homes. But some discussions started on how the city could possibly protect a larger area, possibly all those roads. What type of, responsibility do you think the city has to those rural residents in providing fire protection?
Well, I guess that's where we have to find a balance because, as you know, we have an infrastructure deficit that we're trying to grapple with in terms of all our city infrastructure and facilities. And when you are as you start going to the rural parts of the community, there's less homes there, so it makes it harder to justify. And so right now we are just starting to look at the different options, and the traditional option would be running a fire hydrant, and only to halfway up Riddle Road, where the Kettle Valley Railroad crosses through, and that would help lower their fire risk and provide fire services there. That's 170 grand. To go up to the top of Riddle Road is almost $1 million, and then of course you have other roads in the vicinity that are rural as well, and have been asking about fire protection. The fire chief we're investigating having like a water shuttle, so a large water tanker that can help go from existing fire hydrants up to where the need is, and the benefit with that is because a fire doesn't break out in every neighborhood all the time, you have that flexibility to have a water tender go in this neighborhood or go to maybe an industrial area, other parts of the community. So it's a bit more versatile. It's probably more cost effective. However, we're still looking at those costs involved, and once we get that, then we have to weigh out all the other options. Riddle Road doesn't have a lot of residents there, but it's also the entrance to the Three Blind Mice, which is a large recreational area and cycling area. So, and it does have the Kettle Valley Railroad pathway or trail going through there as well. So it is a bit more of a tourism draw, or a bit more people using it. So it's a bit more of a justification to do something. We just haven't figured out what something is.
Yeah, so this is something that'll probably have to happen, well, as a part of budget talks, because like you said, it will end up being a pretty large dollar figure ultimately either way.
Yeah, and right now we're just trying to do that investigation. And it's of course been hampered a bit because of the fire season that we're in, and our fire department is taxed going out and dealing with not just the fires here and regionally, but in Kelowna and other places. Some of our staff gets taxed to go over there, and so they need to do some proofing of concept where you can actually have a water tender running, I think it's 200 gallons per minute for 90 minutes sustained, and be able to shuttle that back and forth and make that work before that's ruled out as a good option, or any other out of the box thinking of getting fire control, fire suppression, getting access to water, so it makes it easier. And then for the residents there, they pay a higher insurance rate because they are outside of the city limits. They're a bit more outside of fire protection in terms of fire hydrants, that sort of thing. So there is a benefit to them, and there's been some talk, well, maybe they should help kick in a part of that cost as well, and that would probably be offset by their insurance savings. So again, less of a burden to the taxpayer. And those are all things that we need to vet out before we make a decision, and hopefully this fall we get more information, and as we build our budget end of fall or into winter, we can actually make a decision on how is the best to proceed with protecting some of those outlying or rural areas around the city.
Yeah, I was going to ask, would that be a feasible option when you saw maybe like if a group of homes, like say particularly in this Riddle Road scenario, if they got together and said, we would like to pay for a fire hydrant, or and that way no impact to the general taxpayer. That type of I guess pay for infrastructure. It's used a lot for, I don't understand, for like sewers. You think that could work in a situation like this for fire protection, for fire hydrants, running water that way?
Well, we've done that in Elstar, even downtown. The property owners downtown have kicked in for the improvements here. The industrial area people have kicked in. There's another Corey Place where we put new sidewalks and infrastructure there that the residents are paying for part of that. So that certainly helps their case, and if they're saving insurance monies, well, maybe that helps offset that. And you know, there are, if you're adding more increase of services, then you should pay more. And right now they might say we pay taxes, but if we're not running water and sewer to them, so if we are running water to them, then they need to pay more. And but it's also a recreational area, and again, it's sort of we have to find that balance. And right now we need a bit more information on terms of what options are the best, and we hope to vet that out over the next few months.
All right, perfect. That was this week's Castanet-Penticton Mayor's Minute. If you have a question for the mayor you'd like to submit, you can send it to letters@castanet.net. Until next time.
Got the edge? Go to OkanaganEdge.net and click the link in the top right. Fill out the form and show the Okanagan you've got the edge.